Well, hello again. Here's a few bits and bobs I've made in the workshop I thought you might be interested in. No, not the big money box, but the rotary display table. There are many uses you could put this to. I have a similar one in a miniature spray booth for spraying small items. And it's based on our good old friend, the defunct microwave oven. And of course it's the motor that turns the table in the microwave oven. Here's a selection of motors. I don't chuck anything away. And the ones you'll normally pull out of microwave ovens are similar to these. They're synchronous motors. They're usually about 3 to 5 watts. There's a gearbox in here. They usually have this sort of fitting. Let's see if we can find the ends. They usually have that bit, and then the table sits on that. They go at about 3 to 5 revs per minute. And mains driven, of course. Worthwhile collecting. I've made this for a friend of mine who builds fishing rods, and it's a varnish dryer, and the motor comes from, well, yes, you've guessed it, these little motors are extremely powerful, mainly due to this gearing, so the torque on the final shaft is quite high. They can be used for all sorts of applications. A thought I recently had was lighting displays, sort of disco lighting displays. You could drive an oil watercoloured wheel, or a disc with various coloured sectors with a powerful light behind. If you think outside the box, you'll probably think of many more. Perhaps a bubble machine. It's a shame that we fill holes in the ground with loads of these things. Oh well. Moving on from motors, here's a little tip you might find handy. I use a lot of sanding discs in 4.5-inch grinders, and when the packet gets low, I end up getting a curl on them. Well, you can lay them under a weight to take that curl out of them, or a simple answer is to put them between two pieces of plywood, and here it's plastic with just a nut and a bolt. Holds them nice and flat, saves all that bending when you come to use them. Simple but effective. Keeping discs flat can be applied to any size, even the larger ones. Just a piece of studding through some blockboard. Could be simpler. While on the subject of angle grinders, I've got half a dozen angle grinders, and rather than change the discs from grinding to sanding to cutting, I put one on each, and makes it very handy. But a little tip here, after a while they get very dry. What happens, I've removed these screws here after taking off the guard. If you take out the gearbox, this is typical. Centrifugal force blows all the grease to the outside. The pinion wheel is completely dry, as is the main wheel. Well, the best thing there is to redistribute the oil over the teeth. The same on here. Redistribute the oil around and reassemble, and you'll find it'll be silky smooth and much quieter. Simple little job, but I periodically do this. You'd think by now they'd have come up with a far better system, but they haven't. Here's a quick little tip you may or may not know. If, like me, you've got a workbench in front of a window, if you do use a grinder, be sure to keep the sparks away from the window. Sparks are of course minute particles of molten metal, and you'll never get the glass clean again. The actual particles, as you can hear, fuse into the surface of the glass. I once cut a bolt in a conservatory and ruined a 4-foot sheet of glazing that way, so if you didn't know it, you do now. Here we are in the sawdust making department. Here's my thicknesser. It's I think it's McGregor or something like that. Bought at B&Q. If you're thinking of getting one, don't. They're absolutely rubbish. Buy something of better quality. But if, like me, you were stupid enough to buy one, there's a little, rightly or wrongly, there is a little tip that will make it perform somewhat better. Underneath this frame, if you raise this fully up, make sure you've unplugged it, of course, there's a 1/2-inch metal bar run in front of the pinch rollers. The idea is to stop you from putting in anything or taking too much of a heavy cut. And that's the reason it was put there. If you take it out and throw it away, and you're sensible about how much of a cut you take, you'll find the blades will last a lot longer and it'll be a far more useful machine. Lots of little tiny shallow cuts is going to blunt the blade much more so than a mil or two of taking wood off. So here we have a piece of pine. Hello, what happened to the lights? Here we have a piece of pine. Anyway, as you can see, it's better than nothing. But I wouldn't recommend these machines. I regret buying it.